Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior, and today we're going to be talking about Eddy Gordo from Tekken. Now, Eddy was brought up in Brazil and was born into an extremely wealthy family. Knowing that he would one day take over the family business, he would study extremely hard. Now, although he was brought up in a very upper class family, Eddy didn't see these snobby people as his scene, and instead decided to meet up and hang out with the locals, as they were much more down to earth people. Now, when Eddy was 19, his father began acting very out of character, coming across as nervous and, well, strange. Now, one day when he returned home, he found his father in a bloodied mess, as he had been shot and was dying in Eddy's arm. You see, recently, Eddy's father had been poking his nose in the drug business, trying to unravel what was going on and to have these people taken into custody. However, some kingpins were aware of this and in turn did have him killed. Now, Eddy would tell his son to forcibly admit to this crime and hide in prison, as he had messed with some extremely powerful people and the only way he could be safe was actually being in there. Although Eddy wasn't happy about this, he did as his father wished and was incarcerated into a prison as a murderer. Now, prison life was hell for Eddy. Not a day passed that he didn't vow to track down his father's killer. Now, one day a prison riot would ensue and he would bear witness to an extremely old man beat down many, and I mean many, inmates. Shocked by this old man's capability, he trained under him in the fighting style known as capoeira. He trained with him for 8 long years until he was released from prison. Now, after he was released from prison, he began teaching the daughter of his master, who just happened to be Christy Monteiro. The two trained together for 2 years, and Christy was an exceptional fighter. But all of this stopped. You see, Eddy had caught word about the King of the Iron Fist Tournament 3 and would enter the tournament, as he wanted to find answers to his father's killer. Now, we never know how far he actually participated in the tournament, but we do know that he is defeated since he doesn't win it. But during this time, he learns that Kazuya was in fact responsible for having his father murdered. With vengeance on his mind, he would set his eyes on the Mishima. Now, Kazuya was currently dead at this time, but Eddy was very well aware of how difficult it was to kill a Mishima, so he kept his eyes open, and when he caught word of Kazuya being alive and entering the King of the Iron Fist Tournament 4, he would instantly enter. Now, although he did enter, he somewhat kind of dropped off the map and disappeared during the tournament, which led to his student Christy Monteiro entering it and trying to find her master. And when we do see Eddy, we see that one of his arms is in fact in a sling. So it's implied here that when he was trying to track down Kazuya outside of the tournament, he was badly beaten. Now, Eddy along with Christy would travel to pick up Eddy's master, as he had finally been freed from prison, and Eddy was extremely excited to see his former master. But when he picked him up, he only found a frail man. The capoeira master had developed some kind of incurable illness, and it was giving him an extremely limited amount of time to live. So Eddy would enter the King of the Iron Fist Tournament 5 with the hopes of reaching out to the Mishima Zaibotsu so that they could create a cure for him. Now, Eddy is unsuccessful in winning the King of the Iron Fist Tournament 5, and the capoeira master's condition continues to worsen. That is until he strikes a deal with Jin Kazama. You see, Jin had won the King of the Iron Fist Tournament 5 and was now head of the Mishima Zaibotsu, and told Eddy that if he worked for him, then he would consider creating a cure for Eddy's master. Seeing no other way, he would join Jin's Tekken force in secret, once again disappearing and not telling his capoeira master or Christy Monteiro of his whereabouts. Now, due to the end of the scenario campaign, Jin is defeated and is unable to form a cure, so the capoeira master does finally die. He's then next seen at his funeral, in which Christy slaps him across the face, saying that he was too late, because when he was part of the Tekken force, he didn't communicate with Christy or her grandfather, so he wasn't there when they needed him. Now, Eddy does return in Tekken 7, and it seems like he has his eyes set on Kazuya Mishima, as he once again wants revenge against him. But since the story seems to revolve around Kazuya and Heihachi, we don't know whether or not Eddy will play any significant role in the main story. And that's really it for the Eddy video, guys. Now, I've never known much about Eddy, and after making this video, I've realized that he's kind of a dick. Not just because he's a capo fighter, okay, maybe a little, but it's due to the fact that how he just cuts people straight out of his life. At his master's deathbed, he turned his back on him and Christy Monteiro when they needed him at his most. That's a pretty monstrous thing to do. Now, he did defect from Jin's Tekken force during the funeral, but my statement still kind of stands. And I understand he was trying to do the right thing, but death is inevitable, and turning your back on people who care about you the most in their time of need is probably one of the worst things someone can do. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Eddy because of that. Now, how do you guys feel about Eddy being in Tekken 7? Are you glad he's there, or would you prefer someone like Christy Monteiro be there instead? instead, since the fighting style is pretty much the same. Now please put down in the comments below what you'd like to see on the next episode, and if possible, let's try getting this video to roughly 500 likes. It's a great way of supporting my channel, seeing as YouTube's algorithm is still extremely broken. Now as always guys, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I will see you all next time.